Hey everybody, it's Nella here. It's weigh day today for my collection. I thought it might be a good opportunity to introduce you to everybody that you might end up seeing on my channel here. I've made plenty of videos with my Ackie monitor sleeper. I've made a few with the different snakes, but we have quite a few animals in the collection. Well, quite a few. I have 10. There's 10 reptiles. But some of them you're going to see more often than others, so I thought this would be a great opportunity to show them off one by one. I like to take my reptiles out at least once a month and do weigh-ins on them. This is a great way to sort of monitor their health, make sure everybody seems to be doing okay, isn't having any issues shedding. It's a great way to check in with the ones that don't get handled a whole lot. Some of my reptiles are more shy and less tolerant of handling than others. So I'm going to let you kind of follow along with me as I do this. I have got everybody behind me pulled out of their cages already in containers. On a normal weigh day I don't do this. I take them out one by one and put them right back into their cage. But today I didn't want to have to be pausing and starting and stopping the video over and over again to be getting guys out and putting them back in, so I just kind of pulled everybody out ahead of time. For that reason I'm going to start with my crocodile skinks. I have two red-eyed crocodile skinks. Tribolonotus gracilis is the species name for these guys. I want to do them first and put them right back into their enclosure because crocodile skinks are pretty nervous. They're shy, they don't like getting handled a lot, and I don't like to keep them out for any longer than I have to. I have two, a male and a female. I'm hoping that maybe they might make some babies for me since they've moved into their new enclosure at the beginning of the year. They don't seem to have paired up yet, but there's plenty of time and we're just coming into the warm season. For my weighing, I use just a little food scale that I got at Walmart, nothing fancy. And what I'm going to do is put one of my containers on top here. I'm going to hit 0, so this is going to tear out the weight of the container and the lizard. And then I'm actually going to pick the lizard up, and whatever weight is left on the scale is going to be how much my lizard weighs. This is the male croc skink Sobek. He is playing dead. Whoop, never mind. Never mind. Shimada-san. I know. 37 grams is his weight. I'm going to put him right back in the container. Now everything's covered in dirt. Okay, well that's actually, I kind of consider that a good sign, because it used to be that he would be so scared when I took him out, he'd just play dead. So the fact that he had enough spunk to try to run away from me, I think is actually kind of cool. I'm gonna just take a peek in here and try and keep him in the container. And I'm just looking for things like making sure he still has all his toes. Hello, buddy. Hi. Looks like he does. I'm not seeing any issues with shedding. Not seeing any lesions or anything. Actually looks like he's got a little stuck shed here, but I'm not terribly worried about that. Buddy, just taking a peek underneath. I know. All right, there we go. Very good. Very good. All right. So that's Shimada Sobek, my male. He is a little smaller than my female. This is Amit Amari. I'm going to do the same thing, just check real quick, make sure we have all of our toes. The reason I'm looking at toes is these are pretty humid reptiles. They come from a temperate tropical environment. So if we were showing signs of missing toes, it would mean their humidity was too low and their shed was getting stuck on their feet and their toes were falling off. Let's see, she, as you can see, is a lot feistier than her betrothed, as I like to call them. Alright, no, she looks okay too, so I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna close this up, put it on my scale. Dirt everywhere. Since I turned the scale on with the container on it, it teared itself, so I don't have to like go and re-zero it. And now I'm just gonna pick her up out of the container. I know, Mama. Hey. I know. Sweetheart. $46 for her. I'm about to poop, are you? You probably are. Here. Oh! Oh! hear that? Cranky. Come on, go back in your bin. Mama. Come on. I know you don't want to be in the bin. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and pause the video now, put these guys back in their enclosure, and clean up some of this dirt. Excuse me. Okay, so I am back after getting things tidied up after the crocodile skinks. Like I said, they live in a pretty temperate sort of environment. What that means is their dirt is moist and it sticks to them, which you could see when it kind of got all over the place. That's part of the reason why I like to just take them out and put them right back in for weighing, so it doesn't get too much dirt all over. Next up, I'm going to do some beasties that you've probably seen plenty of times in the pet trade, but you haven't seen yet in my collection, and that is going to be our crested geckos. So, like I said, we're going to do the procedure where we put the container down on the scale and zero it, and then I'm going to lift the gecko out. This is Critta. She's the one female crested gecko that we have. Come here, Mama. Let's see, and holy cow! According to this, she weighs 80 grams right now. That's a lot for her, but she has kind of been getting a little chubby. Whoop. Hey, Mama. Come here. One other thing, so like I said, I'm going to be checking over real quick, just kind of looking this gecko over. I want to see, you know, that I'm not seeing any stuck shed or any issues with any of her tail, any of her toes. I want to check her tail. Looks all right. It does have, her tail does have kind of a kink off to the side here. She actually broke the base of her tail when she was younger. If I can find the image, I have an x-ray of it where you can see the fused bones, so I'll pop that up on the video if I can find it. I do monitor this to make sure it's not getting worse. And the other thing I check on her during our monthly weigh-ins, oh, I hope I have something on I can do this with. Since she's a female, she's not laying eggs, she's not breeding or anything, she's just a pet animal. But I check her calcium sacs. Female crested geckos do sometimes lay infertile eggs, even if they haven't been mated. She used to do that a lot when she was living, basically sharing air with the male. She used to be in a cage over here. But we since relocated her into a cage over here, and she hasn't really been laying the dead eggs since then, which is nice, because it's stressful on them, you know. If she doesn't need to be laying them, I'd prefer she isn't, and right now she isn't. But I'm still going to check her calcium sacs. Let's see. I like to do this with a business card if I can find one. This will work, an old like balance rewards kind of card. So I'm going to just real quick do that. Mama. Hey, baby. I know. Alright, good girl. Very good. And they are just fine. There's plenty of videos out there on how to check the calcium sacs of your crested gecko, so I do recommend, if you haven't looked any of those up and you have female cresties, you might want to do that. It's a great tool to have in your toolbox to kind of watch their health. Alright, I'm going to hit the hand sanitizer between animals. These are all established animals in my collection, so I'm not I'm a sleeper. I had a feeling you were going to get out of there. These are all established animals in my collection. What that means is I've had them for a while. Actually, in the case of the geckos, I've had all of them for at least a year, most of them for significantly longer than that, and they've never shown any sign of illness. So I'm not worried about transferring germs between them particularly much, but it's always a good habit when you're going from handling one animal to another, especially if they live in different enclosures, to sanitize your hands. I didn't do that between the crocodile skinks, one because there was dirt on my hands, and when you have dirt or dust on your hands, you have to wash them first before you sanitize them, or the sanitizer's just basically going to sanitize the dirt and not actually your skin. But they live in the same enclosure together, so if there's any germs that can go between them, they've got it already. They're sharing it, so it's not as essential to sanitize between them. But I did wash my hands real good after I finished cleaning up before I started working with the cresties. Alright, gonna check my next guy here. I'm not really doing these in any order, which is why I went from our one female to the crested gecko we've had for the shortest. This is Timothy Lawrence, and we've only had him a year, less than 2, I'm fairly certain. So he's a pretty young guy. It's him. He also doesn't like being handled. Oh, yucky. I know. Hi. Hi. I'll put this back on here. Let's see. Tim is measuring in at 39 grams right now. That's a fairly decent weight for a young male. He's a little on the slim side, but I'd rather have my reptiles be a little on the slim side than overweight, honestly. Let's see. And, whoop! Oh, I hope the camera caught that. I forgot what I was going to say. So, Timothy. Timothy. Hell. This guy's really good in his cage, but he does not like being out. Timothy Lawrence. Ow. Come on. Gosh darn it. Told you that little bugger didn't do good being handled. Look where he got. Look where he got. This is behind where I was filming. I don't know how I'm going to get him down from there because I'm short. This is terrible.